So the definition of colorism from Wikipedia is discrimination based on skin color, also known as colorism, is a form of prejudice or discrimination in which people who are usually members of the same race are treated differently based on the social implications that come with the cultural meaning that are attached to skin color. So, yeah, I would say I experienced colorism as a light-skinned biracial woman. And there is data which supports that there is an advantage to having light skin with all other things equal in the justice system, in the job market, in the dating pool. I've seen light skin and dark skin people deny colorism exists, and I think this is because when you're out living, you just take whatever you can get and take whatever advantage you can get and credit it to luck or your own accord because it's, this is so insidious. So you're not really thinking of a skin tone when you're just trying to do the best you can and get by. But when you look at the data, you can start to see these sort of trends. So I know that colorism is global and that it occurs in Asia, South and Central America, and Africa. I'm not sure what the origin or exact reasoning for this is. I have some ideas, but I'm not going to be talking about that in this video. I'm going to be talking about my experience and what I think of colorism in the US as a biracial woman. So there's a couple of narratives I see going on around online, and I'm going to give my take on it. So the main one I see focuses on light-skinned and biracial women. So there's a notion that biracial women come to the black community to compete with and undermine black women, and that biracial women think they're better than black women. And I never related to this. So I don't think I was born with any notion that light skin was better than dark skin, and this concept never crossed my mind. So I think this is something that you need to be taught or learn from your environment. On the flip side, there's also this idea that dark-skinned black women are jealous of light-skinned women and just hate them for existing or for their hair. I never had issues with dark-skinned girls or women for the most part. I found black women have been very warm and welcoming to me, sometimes overly so. I never really sense any sort of jealousy from dark-skinned women either. Sometimes more of like an admiration, I would say. But I am from the suburbs, so I have a suspicion this may be more of like a lower socioeconomic class issue. So I didn't grow up in the black community, but I've heard that in black families it's common for children with light skin, light eyes, and loose hair to be more favored and praised by primarily the black women in the family. So I never experienced this from the black side of my family, so I was never put on a pedestal by my flat black family for physical features. What I have experienced is from black men. So black men being interested in me due to me being mixed race and asking what I'm mixed with as if it's a compliment. So when I first moved to the city, the first couple of times I had black men come up to me and say they liked light-skinned women or ask what I was mixed with first thing, I didn't really get it. I would just think that a man that is into you would want to appreciate things about your physical appearance, whether you're dark skin, light skin, Asian or white, or your skin tone, your eyes, your shape, whatever. But as this kept happening, I realized it's more to it than just a man trying to flatter a woman that he's trying to get with. So what I come to find is that, these men are clearly broken and they have issues that they're not dealing with. They're suffering from some internalized self-hate issues and they're just being willfully ignorant about it. So it seems like black women seem to frame these preferences as a benefit of colorism, and I don't see it that way. If someone likes mixed people better than fully black people, to me that is saying that they don't like black people and they still hate half of what I am. So it's a backhanded compliment, like saying you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. Basically, they're saying being black is undesirable, but you are better because of what you're mixed with. But they still hate you because mixed is still black. So any man like this won't be able to love you because they don't love themselves, and they already made that clear by hating half of you. If a man can't love himself, then I don't think that he could love you. So a relationship with this sort of person, you would probably end up being treated poorly. So I would never subject myself to this sort of relationship. The type of woman that would accept this sort of preference would have to be naive and ignorant to what the actual issue is, or they agree and don't like the side of them that is black and see the non-side black of them, non-black side of them as better. So I think they agree that they are less than, and they accept being treated negatively. So I don't view these women as horrible people. I don't think you should have contempt for them. What I think is they've been broken down by society, and they may, come from families that praise light skin or view white as right. So I think they've been socialized and taught this way and have not thought of this from their own perspective for themselves. I just feel bad for them that they feel this way about themselves. So, it seems to be the lost, confused, emotionally disturbed, people from lower socioeconomic classes, and willfully ignorant people that are causing the problem. So I don't see why these people are given so much stock to represent this issue. I think they're clearly disturbed and hurt and lacking in decorum for whatever reason. So yeah, I definitely do see that there's a pervasive notion in the black community that light skin is better, and that black people are buying into, and then they're getting hurt by. So I think there's a deep socialization and indoctrination almost going on that many people aren't thinking critically about. So I don't really see colorism as coming from light-skinned people as it's referenced in these discussions. I've heard of light-skinned women engaging in colorist notions, but I've heard dark-skinned women say some of the same things against themselves and value light-skinned women over themselves. So in the case of light-skinned women, I've just seen it as a broken down person engaging in blind ignorance that they got from the black community. I've also seen light-skinned people online talk about being bullied by dark-skinned girls because of their hair or because they are pretty. And to me, this is just ignorance. Bullying happens in all ethnicities. Usually the main target, albeit immature, is someone's appearance. I was also picked on by two dark-skinned girls that were sisters when I was a kid. But I was also picked on by kids of other races, and none of the other number of black girls ever bullied me. So the main perpetrator of colorism, it seems to me, is that it comes from black men. I've seen, how some black men state that dark-skinned women have bad attitudes, or they're unattractive, or masculine, or ghetto, or any of the other type of stereotypes. But, a light-skinned woman could be acting the same way, and they'll think it's okay, and they'll try to get with her. I've seen how, some black men will call average light-skinned women beautiful. but then refer to average dark-skinned women as ugly or, unattractive. So this is not uplifting at all to me. I find it insulting and not anything I want to deal with. I don't feel the need to take anyone else down to feel good about myself. To me, that speaks to insecurity and a low self-esteem. And there's also, a notion, they'll say, well, the mother is the first teacher, and they'll try to shift the blame somewhere else. To me, that's not fair and not how I see it. There's a lot of things that my mother taught me that I don't agree with and that I form my own opinion of. I think what the bigger problem here is black men's preference for lighter skinned women. So in a patriarchal society, women follow the lead of men and they want to cater to the men. I think this is, misguided sometimes, but that's just how it is. So men will bring up the feminist movement, but we know from surveys and such that most women don't even identify as feminists and just go along with the parts of feminism that men agree to. So patriarchy, it sometimes makes the men out to be innocent and the women to be the bad guy, but the women are acting out of the leadership and direction of the men. So no, I don't think that colorism is coming from a marginalized group of mothers who probably have some apprehension about the larger society anyway. Like I said, I think it's a deep ingrained socialization coming from the culture and overall society that seems to be the main problem in playing out this way. What I also see missing in the colorism discussion is that light-skinned and biracial women are also an ostracized group of people who also deal with feeling rejected. So colorism is not saying that light skin is the best. Being black is not a skin tone. If you're black, you can be white passing and still be seen as less than white, Asian, Hispanic, and Indian women who are darker skinned than you. So white women, I would say, are seen as a standard, and light skin is not appreciated for itself. It's appreciated for its proximity to whiteness. And, we do live in a majority white country, and this is honestly what I would expect. I would expect in Asia for Asians to be the standard, and in Africa for black women to be the standard. I'm not really offended by that. If you're comfortable with yourself, you shouldn't be perturbed by anyone else being celebrated or embracing their own beauty. And on that note, to me, it doesn't make sense to expect struggling actresses or musicians that spend their lives trying to achieve their goals to give up their roles or contracts. To me, it's clear that they're thinking they are talented and the best one for the role. It also doesn't make sense to complain about people being put ahead of you. I don't let these other people that are put ahead of me define what my place in society is or care about, these people who are put ahead of me. I define my own desirability and my own worth, so it's no one's job to uplift your skin tone except for you. So I'm not coming from a place of judgment, just looking at it all objectively. I know that there are systematic issues which affect the lives of dark-skinned people negatively that are problems. I don't know what dark-skinned people go through. I didn't grow up in the black community, and I don't know how all these dynamics would affect someone. I don't have a mixed community to compare it to. I don't think that darker-skinned people can speak for light-skinned women either. I don't think that light-skinned women are the problem. I don't think that light-skinned people are putting themselves on a pedestal. I think what the real problem here is a deep-rooted self-hatred and inferiority in the black community that no one is addressing.